Hello, welcome to our free online summit, a solution to plastic pollution. We are Kerry and Bart, your hosts to help you understand more about plastic pollution and everything that floats around it. Maren spends a lot of her time with turtles in the Maldives. She helps these peaceful creatures to recover from injuries caused by ocean trash.
Hello and welcome. Maren Höbel is today with us. Hi, Maren.
Hi, Kati. And hello to everybody out there.
Thank you. You have a very interesting story to tell. You have been in the Maldives a few years ago, 2015, I think it was. And you have really met some very nice turtles there with a very sad story though. Can you tell us a bit more about that story? How did you happen to end up in the Maldives anyway? And how did you meet those turtles and where are they today? What's happening with them? And what does it have to do with plastic pollution?
Yes, great. Yes, I love to tell you the story. How did I end up in Maldives? That is very quickly said, because I started a bit marketing for a Maldivian sea protection program. The program plants corals and cares for turtles. Mm-hmm. And I started a bit to make it public in German or in the German-speaking countries. Mm-hmm. And as thank you for my work, they invited me. And so I had, it was fantastic. They paid the flight and gave me a home. And so I had the possibility and the big opportunity and chance to work with the corals, to plant some corals, and also to care for 3 weeks for the sea turtles. And that was, wow, that are very lovely creatures. The biologists had a lot of work with other things, and they asked me if I can care for the turtles on my own after telling me how to do that. Okay. So they can do their other work. And so I was 24 hours the turtle woman for 3 weeks. Yeah, and I got to know the turtles very well. And let's start with what has it to do with plastic. Yeah, the turtles have a lot to do with plastic. Today I read a quotation of somebody, I'm sorry, I don't remember who said it, but he or she said that the turtles are showing the health of the seas and the health of the world. And meanwhile, the newest or latest research says that in each turtle, really in each turtle, you find plastic. They made a research and they tried to find out in a special number of turtles, I don't remember the number, turtles which lived in the Atlantic Ocean, in the Pacific Ocean, and in the Mediterranean. And they took little
samples.
Samples, right? That is the word I was looking for. Thank you. The samples from the digestive system.
Yeah.
So that doesn't harm the turtle at all. And had a look what is inside the turtle, and there was not one single turtle without plastic. And that I didn't know in 2015. Uh-huh. In 2015, I found out what happened to the turtles we had there in our pools and which were sick. And some of them we found in plastic systems, for example, in abandoned fishing nets, which means ghost fishing nets is the word. So it's abandoned by fishermen or maybe by the fishing industry, and they are floating on the surface. And in a way we also don't really know turtles entangle in this net. Yeah. Or, for example, we didn't have turtles like that, but today I also read about that turtles are in concrete bags sometimes, which are also from plastic.
The bag you buy the concrete in, right? Those big, yeah. Okay.
Exactly. We didn't have such a turtle. We had turtles which had been entangled in ghost fishing nets.
Okay.
And this is a bad problem for the turtle. First, the time in the ghost fishing net. The turtle struggles and tries to escape, but when it tries to escape and it is fighting, the rope of the net is pulling more and more around the flippers and is cutting into the muscles and also into the arteria, and so in the blood channels, and that leads often to a wound that you can't heal anymore. That means those turtles lose their flippers by amputation. And here I can already start with one of the turtles. Her name is Elsa. Elsa was a very lovely turtle, was one of mine, of the ones of my project. And Elsa was totally, completely healthy, except she had been missing both front flippers.
Oh.
And the turtles need the front flippers for navigating, for doing curves and for direction finding. And the back flippers normally are the motor, and the front flippers are for moving. Yeah. And so it is clear that Elsa can't be released to the wild because she has two big problems then, or it is we think we feared she has two big problems, and that means where is she today? You can meet her if you go to St. Petersburg. What is the English name? St. Petersburg.
Okay.
St. Petersburg in Russia. There is an aquarium. It's called the Oceanarium. And there Elsa lives. She has a big pool with a lot of sea animals. There are, as far as I know, there are sharks inside, and there are stingrays inside. She, Olga, who is caring for her, and I am in contact with Olga sometimes on Facebook. We write sometimes. And hello, Olga. Guess you listen. And Olga said she made friends with a stingray.
That's good.
And she's really diving down and swimming around, and she really has good life, as much as a turtle in this status can have a good life. And so she met it very well, and thank you to the Oceanarium. You do great and big work, and I'm not the zoo friend, but in this point, for Elsa, the zoo is really a good option. Yeah, so that was Elsa. Interesting question about the missing front flippers. There is, meanwhile, an option to give turtles new flippers, artificial flippers.
Okay.
Elsa doesn't have one or two. I read yet, yeah. Oh yeah, who knows? Yes, that would also be a possibility for the money, because I am doing a little collection for the turtles to help them, and that, for example, might be a good option to buy artificial flippers for Elsa.
Yeah.
Also, with artificial flippers, you can't release the turtles to the wild.
Okay.
Because. We don't know what happens there, and if they lose it or whatever happens there, nope, that's not a good idea. But in an aquarium, like in the Oceanarium in St. Petersburg, that might be a good option that she gets some artificial flippers. Yeah. So there are really turtles with artificial flippers. So what else did we have? We had, let's go on with Ossy. Ossy is also very interesting. Ossy also had lost a flipper in her ghost fishing net. where she was found. And the ghost fishing nets, again, back to the ghost fishing nets, they are very bad because the turtles are captured, they are entangled, they can't escape, and they can't feed.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
That means that, who knows, a lot of turtles never are found in their ghost fishing nets and just starve of hunger.
Yeah.
And also, what is the problem? That they get sunburned because the carapace and the skin on the carapace, that's interesting. I guess most of people don't know. The carapace isn't a shell outside. The carapace is a bone which is fixed at the ribs somehow. The bones of the bone is together with the ribs somehow, and on the bone again you have a skin. So turtles love scratching. So if you give them your fingernails, they will scratch with their popo, the carapace, because this way they get rid of algae and all the things which grow on the carapace.
Okay.
And so they have a lot of feeling in the carapace, and it hurts them. Also, if they try to fight against each other, they bite each other in the edge of the carapace. And with this mouth, I really don't want to be bitten, right? I don't want to be bitten, bitten. It's better not to be bitten or bitten. Bitten, okay. Yeah, and so Ossy was very eager to swim. Ossy was a very special case. She also lost the flipper, and now we start to go to another phenomenon. A lot of turtles that we found in ghost fishing nets are not able to dive anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody, as far as I know, but I'm not a biologist, maybe something I don't know, but as far as I know, nobody really knows why. The best explanation, I guess, is before they had kind of infection and were already floating, and then they met the ghost fishing net.
Okay.
But nobody knows, might also be vice versa, but I don't have an explanation for that. And so a lot of turtles which were entangled in ghost fishing nets float. It's called floating syndrome or buoyancy disease. Buoyancy is, everybody knows it from diving. Everybody who is a diver, you try to get buoyancy. That means you have enough weight and enough air so that you, how do you call it, schweben?
Yeah, float. Kind
of. That you float not on the surface, but on the level you want to be. Yeah. You can go down like you want to, you can go up like you want to, and you can stay like you want to. That is called buoyancy in diving. And so when the turtles have a buoyancy disease, they can't dive down.
Okay.
And
they're on the surface all day long, basically. That's not what a turtle is made for.
Yeah, I can give you a picture. The picture of Zahiya. Later, I will tell you about Zahiya that we can cut here into the video, that the people can see how it looks like when the turtle can't dive down. The carapace, you have the surface face of the water, and the carapace is sticking out.
Okay.
And there also the skin is dry. So I often put some water over the turtle because I wondered that might hurt. I don't know. When I have dry skin, that hurts. And the turtle skin is made for being wet. So when it's sticking out in the air,
it dries up.
Yeah, it doesn't look really good.
The sun all day long.
Yeah, that too. But in the turtle pools, we had roofs, so they were in the shadow. Yeah.
That I wanted to ask you as well, because we don't really know, like, you said you were taking care of the turtles there. How did the setup look like? Like, were you also involved when new turtles came in, or were they all already there when you came? And how did the whole setup look like there? It was a little sanctuary kind of thing.
Yeah, it was lovely. I can also give you a picture of that, of the turtle pools. Today I found in the project's webpage a wonderful pic of that. And I already thought I will give it to you that you can imagine how that looks like. This project I worked for is called marinesavers.com. If somebody wants to look on the webpage, and it is situated in Maldives on 2 Maldivian islands.
Okay.
And the 2 Maldivian islands are the Four Seasons hotel islands. So the project is a little bit also an advertisement for the hotels, that they care also for the turtles, and what they do is in most of what they do is really, really fine. And they have already cared for so many turtles and have released them. And yes, I also was there when a new turtle came. Most of the turtles were already there. One of the turtles was released when I was there. Her name was Luo Ma. And she went away to the sea on my 3rd day, and you can imagine you put the turtle on the beach, and the turtle starts to go and to walk over the beach to the sea. Yes. And we always had a diver or a snorkeler in the sea with an underwater camera. And this day that was Julien from France. Sorry, Julien. And Julien was there with the underwater camera, and so you could see how the turtle came to the water, and he swam next to her, and then you see her escape to the big sea. And we had a lot of audience because the hotel guests also wanted to watch how the turtle leaves the beach. It was very lovely. That was great. Nice. And one of the last days I was there, a turtle came to us, La Petite. And La Petite had a very bad fate. The day she came, she was very alive. She was struggling against the injection we gave her. She got some saline solution injection. And she was always fighting against it and struggling. And she was really in a good state. She had an infection. And the biologist cared very well for her, but we found then out that she floated like a lot of the others. And let's tell me the story of the turtles. We had some floating turtles. Oh, I wanted to tell you about Ossy. Okay, let's take Ossy later, because Ossy is has a very happy ending. Maybe we end with Ossy. So if you want to hear a happy end, stay in the interview until we are reaching Ossy. So first, a sad story. We had La Petite. This is the turtle that came that day. Then we had Zahiya, Peggy, and Kerry. And those 4 turtles were floating and they couldn't dive. And we couldn't really help them. They were tried a lot of things. For example, Zahiya was found out that inside of Zahiya you had some air trapped. Mm-hmm. When the turtles float, there's always somewhere some kind of gas inside.
Okay. It keeps them up, that makes sense.
Yeah. The gas is either at a place it doesn't belong, or it is in the lung, which is infected and has a pneumonia. Okay. I can't really explain why the turtles then float. Might be that they just don't breathe out because they have pain. And you can't see it in turtles because turtles don't have a diaphragm. They can't cough. And if they have pain, they are silent. So they are very silently suffering. So if you want to find out if a turtle has pneumonia, you have to really take Abstrich, German word.
Kind of, you have to test the saliva, I guess.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Take a sample of saliva, yeah.
Yeah, and the bacteria sample somehow to find out what is going on there in the turtle. Or you have the air trapped somewhere else, for example, in the digestive system. Mm-hmm. There we come back to plastic. For example, the turtle maybe has eaten a bigger piece of plastic, is stopping the digestion. And then they get air, like we get air when we have eaten bones, eaten Beans. Yes. I guess you can imagine something like that. Maybe biologists would say no, that is wrong, but something like that, something in this direction. Or plastic pieces can also cause injuries inside of the turtles. That, for example, there's a little hole in the digestive system where the air can escape to the cave where the digestive system is inside.
Yeah.
So, and Zahiya had air trapped in this cave. And the biologists, that was before my time there, it was, I guess, 2 years before, because Zahiya lived there already since 2012.
Wow, okay.
They tried with an injection needle to pull the air out.
Uh-huh.
And it partly worked, but the air came back. So they did it a few times, as far as I was told, and that was, I guess, not very easy for the turtle. It was hard for the turtle, I guess. But they did it, and unfortunately, it didn't help. So we had finally 4 turtles which floated. There's another theory, and I don't know what biologists say about that. Turtles seem to have, as far as I read, a muscle system around the lung.
Okay.
And imagine you are snorkeling, and when you are snorkeling and you want to dive down, you as human, you do that, and then you put in the air your feet that you are pressed down. So we have a very long, thin body, but a turtle has a flat, oval body and has very short arms.
Yeah.
So it has no chance to go down this way. And as far as I know, they can put the air in the lung forward with their muscle system and backward. And when the air is in the lung forward, and they start to swim, they swim upwards. And when the air is more to the bun, she dives down. So, and this might also be an idea if a turtle now has a pneumonia. Maybe it's not possible that she uses the system. I don't know, but maybe that is just nonsense what I said. But that is, I got some hints by researching it, and that was an idea I had. So finally we had 4 turtles with air trapped somewhere, and we didn't have a solution for them. And that's why the project tried to find zoos where they can be long-term cared for. Mm-hmm. And the 4 turtles became the first 4 flying turtles to appear to European zoos. I was a bit unhappy about that, I must admit, because I had got a donation from a rich hotel guest in the Four Seasons. There are so many rich guests. And there was one man who gave us $3,000 for the turtles and said, word by word, next time I come, I don't want to see them here anymore and want to know they are in the open sea. And we also had a vet who wanted to come and try to treat the turtles. But the project decided another direction. They decided to give them to the zoos in Europe. It was a bit dangerous to fly them because that were sick turtles and you really don't know what will happen to them. But they made the flight, all 4. And you find the turtles now, just 2 of them anymore, because 2 finally died. 1 died today. It's the 9th May, and we are today making this interview. And today, one of the turtles, Zahiya, died.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, today I cried already some tears because Zahiya was my favorite turtle in the meaning that she was the worst case. She was in very bad conditions. She was apathetically, sorry, Toma. Toma was my boss, and he said, how do you see this turtle is apathetically? Yes, okay, we can't ask her. But it had a very apathetically look because it was not moving on the water surface. And she also had problems with the eyes, and she was floating, and she really had a bad life. And Zahiya died today because I got today an email from the zoo, because I wrote to the zoos if the zoos need something, if they do need money for something that they need for the turtles. I wrote to all the projects. I wrote to the zoos. I wrote to marine savers. I also wrote to researchers, for example, Kathy Townsend from Queensland and University in Australia. And I asked them, do you need something for turtles? And this is what we do the donation campaign for. So if you want to give something for floating turtles and to heal them and to solve this problem, then we will link for you under the video the donation page. And so today I got the answer of a zoo, and they said, oh no, today we decided to, what is the English word, to drop down Zahiya, because she was so apathetically, and she didn't eat. She sometimes didn't eat. Then I had to convince her by squid. She loved squid. And then I put squid in front of the eye, which was better able to see. The one eye, the left eye was blind, but on the right eye she could see a little bit. And when I put squid in front of her right eye, then she took it and ate it, even when she didn't have appetite. And yeah, and it was again, and I really don't know the complete story yet. I will deliver it later for you. Yeah, I will update. Yeah. And it's, because I asked back, oh, what happened and so on, and the vet had decided today to lethalize her. And that was very sad. And yeah, and the second turtle also didn't survive. That was La Petite, which I already mentioned, and which came one of my last days there. I didn't recognize her because I visited her in the zoo. It's the zoo Peggy. It's close to Brussels in Belgium. And La Petite I saw after the flight when she was in quarantine. In her quarantine pool. And she had, I told you, she was very alive. She was struggling against the injection and all these things. And this day she was lying as apathetically on this pool as Zahiya always did. She was lying there doing nothing. And it was so sad to see, because I didn't know her in this status. When I got to know her, she was alive. So her status has, her health has decreased so badly. And 4 weeks later, as far as I remember, she died. She simply died. And so we still have 2 turtles in the zoos, 2 floating turtles in the zoo. In Brussels is remaining Peggy. And I got good news today from Julia Duhem. She is, or I don't know how, Julia, I'm sorry, I don't know how to call your name. Is this Julia Duhem or French, or I don't know. And Julia told me that Peggy dies again.
Oh, wow.
We don't know why.
Okay.
That means I don't know why. I also hear hope for the complete story. Maybe it was, she's the one. Also, I told you she has a great pool in Brussels. She has also a pool with sharks, and I saw it. I visited it. It is a lovely pool. And maybe, who knows? I don't know what they did with her. Maybe they treated her somehow very successfully. But I sometimes also guess if the turtles see that there are other sea creatures, and if they could dive down, they can have a look underwater and see the sharks and see the corals and see everything what is there in this pool. And sometimes I have the feeling that they want to dive down, and that maybe heals them somehow. Yeah, and then we have.
That could be something indeed. I think if they are, if they have other sea creatures around and are not just, alone somewhere, kind of waiting for something to happen that will help them, no, to indeed to wanting to dive and wanting to come back to life, because of course they are not made or they are not designed to be in pools. They are just there because it would be dangerous for them in the real world.
Yeah.
That's great news. So maybe we can also later on get an update on that. Maybe they can share if they gave her a specific treatment or what exactly happened.
I will tell you everything, which will come after the interview. Whatever Julia tells us, I will tell you, and also why Zahiya died, I will tell you too. So Peggy, you can meet in Paris-des-Arts, close to Brussels. But now as she dives again, and Julia wrote that she's in good health, but a bit slow swimming.
Okay.
I asked her if she thinks that Peggy is healthy enough to maybe be released. Peggy also, then I would love to pay the back ticket with the donations, which we collect. So the back ticket, the return ticket to Maldives, I would love to pay that from the donations, that Peggy can go back to her sea. Peggy has another problem. Peggy also has lost one flipper, but just one.
Mm-hmm.
And we have, in the Marine Savers Project, already released turtles with 3 flippers. So depending on the health, what they have, it might be possible to release her, but the best person to decide that is Julia. So, yeah. And then there's left Kerry. Kerry is also in Copenhagen. Kerry is in the same zoo as Zahiya is still today. They will also do in Zahiya. They will also the veterinarians will also have a look inside. They will don't know the special word.
Autopsy.
And for animals you'd call it necropsy. It's an autopsy, right? Yes, and they will have a look inside her and try to find out what's going on in her. And Kerry is left, and I must say that the Copenhagen Zoo is such a friendly and lovely zoo. I really am not a zoo person, but Kerry has met it so well because the turtles, I told you about the dry skin that they have when the carapace is in the air over the water surface. And also they like scratching. And they built, you can't imagine, a shower for Kerry and for Zahiya, who is now not alive anymore, but they built a shower, and they built a system. I don't know how it looks. I hope to get a picture of that, where the turtles can scratch. So they are really caring. They are really thinking about the turtles. They are really looking, how might this turtle feel? What might it need to feel a bit better? And so Kerry is remaining. And for Kerry, I also hope, I also hope for help, that finally somebody or we will find a reason why she's floating and how to maybe heal that. But there is another problem for Kerry. Kerry has also probably had a broken back flipper, so she's also swimming very slowly. So I don't think really she can be released, even if she could dive. But turtles that float for a longer period of time, the lung and the carapace are changing the shape.
Okay.
And Kerry has a very big carapace. I guess she's a good example for this phenomenon. And that means even if you are able to hear the original reason why the turtle floats, and this is fine, then the turtle can't dive down, though, because of the big carapace, which is really where really is too much air inside trapped. And so I guess that it's not possible to make Kerry dive, but I always hope for really. And I never stop for reading research, and I never stop for thinking about that. And maybe one day, who knows? But Kerry, the likelihood is really not very big.
Okay.
So, yeah, but she also met it very well. If you want to meet her, you go to Copenhagen. There's an aquarium with the name Den Blå Planet. The blue planet in English, in Danish. Yeah, so, and she really has a good life there. So all the turtles you can meet. Yeah, and yeah, what else can I say? Let's come back a little bit to plastic, maybe. So what has plastic to do with all that? First of all, you find them entangled in plastic or in plastic bags. Second, they eat plastic. Plastic is, yeah, and that is very interesting, especially the young turtles, the hatchlings. They go to the open sea and stay there for a longer time until they become bigger and adults, and then come back to the coasts. Mm-hmm. And in the open sea, there's a lot of plastic swimming, which is in very small pieces. That's microplastic. And this is what young turtles eat. And I found today a statistic where it was said that 50% of the young turtles, of the very young turtles, have plastic already inside. About 25% of the juveniles have plastic inside, and about 15% of the grown-up turtles have plastic inside. So you have numbers of 50%, 25%, 15%, 15. And the problem is that, yeah, I always, I've almost don't dare to say that, but maybe this species will end up because the young turtles don't grow up anymore. And this is a big problem.
Yeah.
And it is in all turtle species. There are, I guess, 7 species. I don't know if I'm able to say them all, but there are it must be 7 sea turtle species. That is olive ridley turtles, like I talked about. All the turtles I talked about were olive ridley turtles. Okay. Then you have hawksbill turtles, you have leatherback turtles, you have green turtles, and the others I can't say at the moment. But they all have exactly the same problem.
This is indeed because it doesn't just mean the plastic is there now. I mean, this plastic, they cannot digest it, so it stays in their stomachs, and it's not only that it's not nutritious. On top of it, it also has even more bacteria and more dangerous stuff attached to it that goes, into the turtle, into the animal. And also, it takes off space that food that should come later on cannot take anymore. So basically, step by step, their stomachs fill up, and they are less and less able to take in food anymore. So
exactly.
Indeed, when you say the highest percentages with the small turtles, not a good sign. Yeah.
Yeah. I think there are some things what plastic can cause in a turtle. The first is, as you said, if it's a bigger piece of plastic, it can stop digestion. That's really bad. Then second, if the plastic is a bit sharp, it can hurt the turtle from inside and cause injuries, and can also cut the gut, that maybe there later is a hole in the gut. Then third is the microplastic. It often comes out, and if there are found turtles with plastic inside, they get some oil to eat, that the plastic then comes out.
Ah, okay, yeah. And it's laxative in a way.
Yeah, exactly. And then I guess there's also another problem, which I never read about in research, but I know that is a problem in people, that some of the plastics are, was heißt ein Hormonsystem?
They are endocrine disruptors.
Exactly, that are endocrine disruptors.
And
and here we come back to Zahiya, It's just an idea of me. If she might have eaten plastic somewhere, very small microplastics that never anybody has found, maybe because plastic. I saw it at the Maldivian beaches. The plastic bags, how small they become, and if you want to grab them, it falls apart. Yeah. And I read about plastic in plankton size. And if a turtle has maybe eaten plastic in plankton size, maybe already as juvenile turtle, then she will have a lot of problems. So Zahiya was an elder turtle when she came to us. The biologist estimated that she was 40 or 50 years old.
Wow.
But still, maybe
they come usually.
Yeah, hopefully she had until then a very good life until she started to float.
I didn't know that they were that old. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. They become decades old. So for all the floating turtles, there's a lot of hope because we have time to find a solution.
That's good.
But so maybe, who knows, that Zahiya maybe might have had endocrine disruptors which have caused maybe brain problems because the vets guess that she has brain problems.
Mm-hmm.
And so
it's all one big system, one big organism, and if there's different factors messing with it, might one big be plastic, and maybe there are also other things. One thing leads to the other, and then that's the result.
Yeah, exactly. So plastic does a lot to turtles, and it's just an example for a lot of sea creatures, because all the other sea creatures and sea animals have the same problem. But in turtles you can see it very good because the turtles are cared for and you can see what happens to them.
Yeah. Then maybe now about the happy story.
Yeah, I thought the same. Ossy, let's talk about Ossy. Ossy was also floating, and she was, poor Ossy was floating in a very funny way, because when she tried to dive down and she could pull herself a little bit down underwater, popping then up again, you call that corking. She was always eager to swim, and when I put her some fish under the water surface, she tried to dive down, but her left bum always sticked out the water. She couldn't dive down with her left bum. So she tried to dive down, and sometimes she flipped already over on her backside when I put the foot too deep into the water. Then but she was always of good humor, and she was defending her pool. For example, one day when I wanted to clean it, she came to the how do you call it, Besenstiel?
Broomstick.
Broomstick? She came and she wanted to bite into the stick, and she was really alive and eager. And when I had already again left the project, she was still floating, and some month later, I thought it was in May 2016. I was there in autumn 2015, and April, May 2015, the biologists went swimming with her outside in the sea. And I guess this psychological training was good, because again, some months or weeks later, I don't have the exact time plan, but then some time later, she was found in the morning sitting on the ground of her pool. Wow. And everybody was very surprised and very happy, and the diving was not that stable at that point of time. She again and again could dive, then again she couldn't dive, then she could again dive, then she couldn't dive, and it stabilized. And meanwhile, she's released and she's back to the sea. And Ossy, I hope to meet you once again when I go diving in Maldives. And she also has just 3 flippers and she's swimming around outside.
Well, that's a happy ending indeed.
Yeah.
So, okay, that is another example of, putting them kind of back into a more natural environment where they come from as well.
Yeah, the project has
be motivating, but
yeah,
that's obviously an assumption. I don't really know, of course.
The project has a new outside pool. That is you can imagine. I can also send a photo of that. So it is a big round circle wall, and it also has kind of bottom. I guess it is a net or something like that. And there you can put a turtle in the open sea.
Okay.
So it's protected.
Yeah.
Can't be catched by a shark or something because it is protected and it is in the open sea. Okay.
So now, after all these really nice, touching, sad, but also happy stories, the goal would be really to, as you already mentioned, that you would like to collect some money to basically help the turtles.
Yeah.
We are now, as we're having this interview today, right now, you are in touch with the different places where turtles are at the moment, and also with the place in the Maldives where all this adventure of yours started in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So basically what we are looking for is that they tell us a bit more about what they would need in order to help the turtles that are there right now, and also future turtles, of course, because there will be many more coming most likely. So can you tell us a bit just how we will set this up? We will put the link below for sure. And we will also post, you said when you have an update ready, we will also put this in the back of this interview. So is there anything else people need to know about it?
Yes, there are a lot of things. Please remind me to talk about lychee. First the turtles. Indeed, I am in contact with some places. I wrote an email to everybody and asked, do you need something? The Copenhagen Zoo said at the moment we don't need anything at all. Julia from Brussels said at the moment we don't need anything, but I asked them back if we maybe need a return ticket for Peggy. Then I also asked in St. Peterborough if they need something. I didn't get the answer so far, so they didn't answer so far. I will back up update that all. I asked a researcher in Australia, Kathy Townsend, and she has an interesting project. She is working on an ultrasound underwater system to find out if in a turtle is plastic and where and which size.
Okay.
And this is also a good idea because a lot of turtle projects have a big problem, as we had in Maldives. There weren't X-ray options. Oh, yeah. We tried one day to go to a hospital and to get an X-ray with our turtles, but finally it was a human hospital. Finally, the human hospital said, "Oh no, maybe they were afraid of the turtles."
Okay. No. So yeah, technical equipment like that could be also helpful, right?
Yeah, and I also tried to get a vet. We didn't have a vet in the project, and the only vet we had was a quarantine vet in the international airport, but he didn't have any idea of turtles. I asked him, but he said, "No, with turtles I can't help you." So he is the better man for dogs who want to come to Maldives and all these things. So,
maybe now with this interview, who knows? I'm putting it out there now.
Yes.
Now, of course, we're gonna collect money to to start funding such things like this ultrasound devices and flight tickets for the turtles to come back if they are approved to be released. But also another thing could maybe someone is listening here who is a vet and who knows about turtles, and maybe can afterwards kind of get in touch and maybe create some kind of initiative to say, hey, we want to come together, we want to start some research here, and let's see what happens out of it. You never know.
Yeah, and yeah, it's great, Kati, wonderful. And also, yes, I'm collecting the money for turtles which need treatment because they need medication. Sometimes you have to pay a vet. This is the biggest problem I had in Maldives. I would have loved to spend the $3,000 of the hotel guest for medication and to fly to the Maldives a vet. That would so for these things I want to use the money, and at the moment I'm looking for the exact place where to give it, and I will also deliver more of that. And as I said, if somebody is listening who is a specialist in turtles, who is a biologist, who is working with that, I also have a very, very little Facebook group. It's called Turtle Floating Syndrome or Buoyancy Disease. Then please ask to join. And there's also Kathy Townsend inside. And I am inside, but I'm not really a specialist. I'm just fighting for the turtles.
Yeah. I guess maybe anyone who wants to, like manpower is always welcome also to help moving things forward. So I guess if somebody is not a specialist now, but if they feel like, oh my God, I'm passionate about the turtles, I want to help move this forward, join the group. We will also put that or below here or in the end of the interview. I'm not sure yet. Yeah, it's important to unite. If you are passionate about a cause, I think that's really great. A really great option to do that.
Yeah. What I have to tell you about lychee, I'm doing this donation campaign about lychee, and
One second. So lychee is the platform you're using to collect donations, right?
Yeah, exactly. And lychee, I am not, how do you call that? Ich habe keine Gemeinnützigkeit. Wie heißt das?
You are not.
Okay, I describe it. If you are
not a non-profit organization or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not a non-profit organization. I'm just me. I'm just Maren. And so I can't get donations, which you can
deduct.
To the financial offices. You can't put that, I'm afraid. It is so in lychee it is called a gift. So what money that you would give to us or to me in this case for helping the turtles is a gift for the turtles. And that I would like you to know.
Yeah, that's important to know as well.
Yeah, that's important.
Thanks for that. Great. Then I would actually have another question.
Sure.
Well, this summit is called A Solution to Plastic Pollution, as you know. And of course, there is no such thing as one solution, one global solution for the whole problem. But looking at it from different angles and seeing what different things can be done and the solutions that are already out there or what people are doing. Do you think there is the possibility to really solution this, to find really an end to plastic pollution? And what do you think, how could this look like? Is there anything specific that gives you hope as well?
Wow, that's a big question.
What comes to mind?
I start small and then become bigger, okay? The small one is at first, from my point of view, as I have seen the turtles and as I lost my favorite turtle today, which is very sad, I really ask you to never, never, never put away any plastic at all, anywhere that a turtle might eat or plastic where it might entangle. And if you see plastic on beaches when you are in the holidays in your vacation, then please collect it. Take everything that you find and put it to the next bin. And that is the first, and that is what everyone can do. And the big solution, okay. I really tell you what I think. I think that we, the protectors, are always too slow facing a big industry which is earning a lot of money. And I think this big industry has to be stopped somehow. And I think that, maybe they must face that probably you can't get any fish to eat anymore that is not full of plastic, which means when you eat the fish, you will get endocrine disruptors, and in the long run you will get a big problem with your hormone system, and that can cause all diseases up to cancer. And I can just tell you, the people of the industry, you don't want to have that. So this is one thing I have to say about that. The second thing is an idea that a friend of me said yesterday. I'm not sure if that's really my opinion, but the idea is not bad. He is traveling a lot, and he has seen a lot of countries.
Okay.
And he has also different passports of different countries, and he has really a special kind of lifestyle. And he said in Singapore, you don't find any waste at all because they have big penalties for that. And he said, if you would introduce penalties, let's say $500 for the first piece of plastic you let drop down somewhere, and they then write down your name, so you are registered. The second time it costs already $1,000, and for making you afraid that you don't do that, 1 day in the prison.
Okay, wow.
And he said the third time makes $1,500 and 3 days in the prison. Also he said against rich people who just say, hey, I have 10 millions, what about 1,500 euros or dollars? So he said then very soon the world would be very clean. And so then we talked also about the plastic rivers, like in India. And an idea that I then got is each, how do you call development, Entwicklungshilfe?
Help for developing countries?
Yeah, the help for developing countries, for example, for India, should in the first place go to a good rubbish system so that the rivers become clean. Yeah, and that's all. More I don't have to say at the moment.
That's all very important points, I think, because mainly you mentioned one thing that we can all do on the consumer basis, and as each and every one of us, actually doesn't matter what level, if it's consumer, retailer, manufacturer, or government, everyone. Don't throw away stuff and pick up what you find and put it to the bin.
And avoid one-way plastic. Take your own bowls to buy your meals and all these things, and buy vegetables at the vegetable department without plastic bag, and you have these this vegetable nets that you can buy and that you can take out for shopping, and bring then the vegetable back without plastic.
Exactly. And I also think it's an interesting idea with this penalty. It goes in a direction that indeed, because we have quite, let's say, the consciousness is rising about plastic pollution. More and more people know about it, more and more people are aware of it, more and more people want to do something about it. Still, we have not reached the critical mass.
Mm-hmm.
So to reach that critical mass, indeed, legislation which comes from the government needs to be taken. And I'm not saying now to put penalties like that, to put people in prison and stuff. I'm not exactly now saying that, but I think it can be, food for thought to think about what measurements can be taken by governments in general, even if it might just be like a plastic tax, or some money always hurts people if they lose it to something, like to a penalty or something like that, so, or a tax they have to pay. So that indeed I think is a very, very good idea.
Yeah, and I loved. I read somewhere that there are countries which have forbidden that you bring plastic inside.
Yes.
Plastic bags, and that's I find really great. And there was something else. Yes, it is. I'm looking there at my shoe. There's standing my shoe on the floor. I can't reach it from here, but I find really great. I have bought barefoot shoes. And this company of barefoot shoes is making the barefoot shoes of old plastic.
Oh yeah, that's also great. Yeah.
So I have barefoot shoes of all plastics. It's called Vivo Barefoot. We could also link that.
Yeah,
if like. It's so great.
Yeah, there are more and more brands as well that take old plastic, ocean plastic, to make new stuff out of it. I was indeed today researching to find flip-flops, because I found with my trash audit, with my weekly list of single-use plastic that I still have coming in here and there. I already reduced it a lot, but still something is there here and there. And flip-flops, okay, it's not single-use, like I use them a lot. Because I use them a lot, they break fast. And it's definitely, you cannot recycle them, nothing. So it's really, I'm not a fan of it. So I was actually looking to find flip-flops as well. So that would be
great.
The next.
Oh, when you found them, please tell me. I want to have a pair too.
Yeah, cool. Is there anything else you would like to add?
Yeah, I said everything. Yeah, maybe I would like to tell to the wonderful projects and the people who are all doing this great work, to Thomas Lebert, who is the boss of Marine Savers, to sorry, sorry, I'm a bit captured at the moment. To Kathy Townsend, who does this great work of giving a smaller project a possibility to see inside the turtles by ultrasound. To Julia Duham, who did the great work with, that was the zoo who in the first place got all the 4 turtles before she spread the turtles to other zoos. And who could reach that Peggy dives again. And also thank you to the great Copenhagen Zoo, and to the people in St. Petersburg, to Olga, to all these people, and to Mr. Sebastian Stradal, who made the project of the flying turtles. Though I wasn't happy that they flew to European turtles, and I would have preferred that they are treated in Maldives to be released. Guess finally he was right, because it's not so easy to make the turtles dive again. And as you see, Peggy maybe can fly back, who knows? So thank you to these great people, and to all the biologists of Marine Savers and all the other turtle projects worldwide who have already helped so many turtles, and who do it each day, and who remove the plastic out of the turtles and release the turtles in the knowledge that maybe the turtle swims around the next reef corner and eats the next plastic. So thank you so much to all these great people.
Thank you, that's really nice. Yeah, thank you, Maren, for this great interview. It was really nice to get an insight also into someone's story who has been really very closely involved in this, because I think turtles are a very special topic when it comes to marine animals and plastic especially. because they show certain symptoms that others don't, like the floating. And I'm really I'm curious to see to look out for the updates that we're gonna hear and see. And I'm definitely also gonna donate something. I would love to see them all, to see them all diving again, and hopefully being released. Hopefully they can be released.
Oh, thank you.
So.
Thank you.
Love all the turtles.
I also put in the first place, after I have opened this pool, this money pool, I have, or money pot. The first place I also put a little bit of money inside.
Always good to start off.
Yeah.
I'm optimistic. Great.
Yeah, I am too.
Thank
you, Kati, for this great interview and for giving us the chance to show up with the turtles, to show this problem to a bigger audience, because most of people don't know about that. Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you in the name of the turtles who will be helped.